Well, what I usually, when people ask, well, there's got to be a downside to this stuff, you said, ask about risks and benefits. We don't know what is the effect in pregnancy and lactation. We don't know. No one's ever done a study to just pure arginine on the developing fetus, for example. Although I can tell you it's impossible to remove arginine from the diet of a pregnant woman. What about 5% of people are going to have diarrhea when they start an arginine product. And that's why I suggest starting slow. Work up to whatever, if you're going for 5,000 milligrams a day, work up to that so that you can give your body time to acclimate itself to that. People that have, say, documented low blood pressure, and I don't mean like 110/60, that's normal. I mean, they actually may even have to take medication because their blood pressure is too low, all right? It might not work for them. It might not be the right product for them because that relaxation of blood vessels may tend to lower the blood pressure somewhat. So while I was doing research, and I was looking for different ways to help my husband who was having some real health challenges, I learned about something called nitric oxide, and it's a miracle molecule. I really don't know quite how else to describe it. For years in the human body, scientists knew that there was something that relaxed blood vessels and opened them up. We didn't know what it was, so we called it relaxing factor, okay? And when 3 Americans found out it was nitric oxide, it was worthy of the Nobel Prize. I mean, this is big stuff, because not only does it help relax blood vessels and open them up, that's just a short-term situation. Over the long term, as these blood vessels are exposed to more and more nitric oxide, what happens is they become softer and more pliable, more youthful. Plaque dissolves. It doesn't break off and go downstream. It dissolves and melts away. The blood vessels are more supple. This hardening of the arteries or plaquing is actually disappearing. So that's an incredible situation when you realize all of the diseases that are related to, say, poor blood flow. What's a heart attack? Poor blood flow to the heart. What's a stroke? Well, that's poor blood flow to the brain. You may know people with trouble with their extremities. Diabetics in particular may get wounds and poor healing. Hey, guess what? That's blood flow. Okay? Viagra gets a lot of press. Guess what? The problem that treats is a blood flow problem. So if you're supporting the blood flow in the entire body, everything's getting better. Actually, it's kind of fun. I cover that in my talk, about myths about heart disease. I'm a runner, therefore I can't have a heart attack. Total myth. 300,000 sudden cardiac deaths a year, 100,000 are athletes. What's going on? Exercise is not the total answer. So let me see how well I can explain this. First of all, you have to understand what happens in a heart attack. And it's not that cholesterol plaque builds up on the wall and it slowly squeezes off over time. That's not it. In a heart attack, yes, there may be a plaque. It may not even be very big. But if that plaque ruptures or explodes, it breaks open because there's a little cap over it. If that cap disappears, that cholesterol goo gets into the bloodstream and a clot happens just like that. I mean, it's just that fast. Plaque rupture, and there's this clot, and that causes the lack of blood flow. That's a heart attack, okay? If it happens in such a way that the rhythm is messed up in the heart, you may have an abnormal rhythm, and that person will drop to the ground and die if they don't get medical help immediately. So that's what's happening. So now it may make a little more sense. Being a runner does not protect you, okay? We all have plaque. I don't care how pure your lifestyle is or how young you are. Atherosclerosis is well established in people in their late teens. We can find fatty streaks in the blood vessels of children, okay? It's already started. So what you have to understand, though, is that plaque does not have to be very big in order to rupture and cause death. And when you realize that, hey, they've got a plaque, it's just ruptured, and they died, there's your answer. We know that athletes are less likely to die of heart attack sort of compared to the general population for most of the time. But while they are exercising and immediately after, their risk is much, much higher. So that's kind of the answer to that question. Now, this is another exciting thing about nitric oxide. Guess what it does? It stabilizes that cap over the plaque so that it's less likely to rupture. You may hear me say, somebody famous dies of sudden cardiac death like this again, and I'll say, it didn't have to happen. more nitric oxide in the system, and that person might have been protected.